In today's episode of Spotting Fakes, I'm covering Lou Gehrig's 1933 Goudey.
Today, I consider myself the luckiest man on the face of the earth.
Gehrig's an awesome ball player. I mean, he almost had 500 home runs, 3,000 hits, had well over 100 WAR, won multiple championships, and he had the streak before Cal Ripken. And that's just one of the reasons why I have this Gehrig in the backdrop of all my videos. If you guys are new to my channel, every single week I cover a different fake card from Michael Jordan to Wayne Gretzky to Mike Trout. That way you don't get scammed buying a card online or at a card show. Oh, and one last thing. The majority of the fakes I see is for Lou Gehrig's number 92. Gehrig has two cards in the 33 Goudey set, but they have identical pictures. So just know that going into the video. All right, so real quick before we go over how to spot the fake, take a look at some market movers data. I'm gonna get it 20% off either your first month or year purchase with that. Use code Breakout and use the link down in the description. So you can see the cheapest version over here for one sold for over $1,000. That was a very, very rough one. Not all ones are equal. Normally ones go for about $2,000, but this one, it has some real character. You can see a 6 over here sold for $17,000. So if you find this card raw and it's in good shape and it's cheap, be very skeptical. Chances are it's probably fake. All right, so now how to spot the fake. There's actually quite a few ways, which makes it really, really easy. And the first one is always the spider cracks. So I know it doesn't pick up that well in this picture, but these are fake cracks that someone puts into the card to try to age the card itself. And you can see that all across right here. On a real one, you're not going to have that type of aging. This is a sign of artificial aging. Same with the scratches that you see on these Goudey cards. Most of those are artificially aged. That doesn't typically happen to the real one. So keep that in mind when you're looking at one. Another one sign that's really easy to tell is the ink bleeding. So on normal Goudeys, it's typical to have bleeding from the front ink all the way to the back. Now, not all real copies have it, but fakes can't really replicate this really well. I haven't seen a fake replicate this yet. So if you see ink bleeding from the front, signs are that this card is real. Again, this is also a very, very good candidate for the light test because these cards are thicker. Some of the fakes are thicker, but just right away when you get one of these, do the light test because right away you can tell if it is real or not. So a few other things I want to take a look at is this cap space right here. Usually on the real ones, there's some space between the cap and the border. You can see over here, there's a lot less space. On some of the fakes themselves, there's no space at all. And you can see some of the different signs like that with some of the roots also in the 33 Goudey set, but I'll cover that in another video. Another thing is this baseball bat. So you can see how it's printed. It's over the border. This fake has it, but a lot of fakes do not have that as well. So it's another sign that you can take a look at. The same thing with the clay over here. So you can see how the clay is over the border right here. Again, this fake did that as well, but a lot of fakes do not. Another thing to take a look at over here is this red banner that says Big League. So over here, this red banner is not perfectly aligned. You can see the fake is aligned. So just looking at that banner itself is a great sign. Next thing is also looking at the stamp over here. Again, this picture quality isn't the best today, but the stamp is a lot thinner than this one over here. And right away, you can tell with that. You can look at the contrast on the jersey as well. The real one stands out. This one, the contrast is much more. Everything is a lot darker. You can even see this over here with the bottom, the socks, a lot lighter, darker all around there. And you can see that with the shadows. And the shadows are a really big thing to look at when you're spotting these fake cards, just because it stands out so much. But yeah, those are the main signs to take a look at with the Lou Gehrig. When you guys see a real version and then you see a fake version, you'll be able to notice it right away. But I understand when you're online, it's so difficult to see, especially if you're not familiar with what the card looks like. And if you haven't seen a real Goudey in person, make sure to check one out before buying this Gehrig. So it's a brief preview of the book. If you want to see the full page, you can either check on my Twitter, which I posted 2 pages, or you can check on the YouTube community tab. Spotting Fakes, the digital version, is out this month. If you're watching this in the future, make sure to click down the link in the description if you want to order this book.